Hey guys, good morning, evening, afternoon. Masati here, Masati on Sunday. Welcome. It's going to be another great day, guys. It's a turning point. It really is a turning point, especially with the election happening. That's happened, right? A lot of people really sad. A lot of people really joyous. So where can we come together? It is a turning point. It's a fantastic turning point. It's not who gets elected though. It's on what you can do to yourself, how you can come into full autonomy to take the most advantage of the situation. Right? It's been a crazy ride, and again, a lot of people think that it's the person being elected that's going to destroy or make fantastic the situation, their life situations. That's not. It's never happened before. It never has happened before. But highly successful individuals, what do? They're like fucking ninjas. No matter what situation that has come about, they've taken it into great opportunities. The worst situations, that's where we make the best leaders. That's where we make the most billionaires, highly successful individuals. This is where we've created, the best innovations. So what are you gonna do? And that's really the key. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna go fucking, cry over spilled milk, or if you're that one person that's going, yay, this Trump is going to save me and all that, you still got to do the work. You still have to do the fucking work and really go forward into your own mastery, and that really is the key. Your own mastery, right? And that's what XI is about. And in this meditation, hyper meditation or talk, um, actually, the 1111 activation or XI activation is coming up tomorrow, actually November 11th. So we'll go deep into it. This will be a precursor to that. But this is where this allows you, or any hyper meditation that we do, XI allows you to take whatever situation that's out there in life, and make it the best for you, because that's what you want, right? There's so many different variations. Life isn't perfect. There's so many different variables that allow us to say excel or expand each and every moment. Most people, what they do is like, well, I'm waiting for that right moment, the right time, the right person, the right amount of money, the right government, and so on and so on and so on. It's like, how long are you going to wait? By the way, time does not wait for you. Nature does not wait for you. If you miss the train on time, and by the comment in, if you missed the train on time, what happens? Shit happen. Well, you miss a lot of opportunities. You miss a lot of situations. You miss those times that you could have. How many out there is like, I should have, I could have, if I only had to, right? And then when the time is past and you look back, you find it's like, oh yeah, I could have done that. If only I would have done that, right? It's like 2020 perspective, right? It's what's happened in the past. It's like, oh, that could have been the right time. That would have been the right time. So those kind of patterns, stop us on our tracks. And what we're doing is we're stopping time and space from happening forward. Right. So we're going to be talking about 1111 activation portals, many things like that. If you have any great comments, I'm on my iPad here because I'm traveling. I'm here in Austin. Really fantastic event, private event. I'm here in Austin, so I can't really take a look at your comments and do rendezvous is what we're using. Can't really do it at the same time. So if you have some great comments, send them in anyway. It's okay, and then we'll pull the best out of those comments, and then we'll answer them in a bit. So we'll still make it as live as possible. Take a deep breath in. We'll make this an experiential event here for you, and just notice your chest. So on this 11/11 activation, a lot of people talk about 11/11 activation. The full moon, Christmas. Is a huge frequency holiday. Thanksgiving. What do they call it? Mercury retrograde. All those things that are, say, an alignment of the planet. Is there science behind it? Is there truth behind it? And who knows? We're not that intelligent. I'm sure there is. I'll give you my concepts on it, but in this case is but how in this case the big deal is like whether it's true or not. There's so many people that believe in it that it creates an auric field, and as it creates that auric field, that's the cool thing. It creates momentum. It creates movement into a direction. Now, a lot of people are going in the wrong direction. It doesn't matter. It's going through into a proper direction. What you do is you take advantage of that because it propels you, because the masses are thinking, say, one way. There's something happens, right? Like portals, 11/11 activation, Mercury retrograde, and whatever else that's out there. Full moon, new moon, all those things, right? That's fantastic. Yet so many people believe in that motion, that you can ride that motion and then get to where you want to go. Right? You don't want to follow the crowd because almost all the time the masses are wrong. Right? Just note that almost all the time, statistically, the masses are going the wrong direction. Right? So you want to take the train towards where they want to go, and then you get off as soon as you get the momentum. It's like a catapult, right? You get pulled back. It pulls you back, and then you take that momentum to catapult yourself into the right direction. So in this talk, we're going to be talking about harnessing true science behind mysticism, two, activating higher self connections through science and frequency, using again using 11/11 activation, and then using energetic portals as practical tools for self-optimization. So the first one, and I'm just reading just to because I do go all over the place. So 11/11 activation, again, many people think that it's a mystical symbol, right? It's a sign. The one of the things that we do here in XI is like, okay, let's take that mysticism out of it. Let's take the belief systems out of it. For example, religion. There's nothing wrong with a religion or spirituality, right? But there's a lot of beliefs that can destroy you. There's a lot of beliefs. There's a lot of ideas. There's a lot of concepts. There's a lot of practices that actually destroy individuals, right? For example, you want to be a kind person. That concept of being a kind person in religion, okay, or in spirituality, or just being, say, even if you're atheist, your idea of being a kind person is brought about from religion and spirituality. So think of it. Even if you're a science person, even if you're atheist, where did you get your concepts of being a kind person? Where did that come from? Well, it came from being religious. And there we go. As we again uh, that's just being kindness. Where do you get your idea and concept of honor? Where do you get your idea of self-love? Where do you get your idea of love? It all comes from, say, a source, and usually that's, say, a God source or a concept of God that humans didn't understand at the time. Hence, religion is not that great. Again, there's nothing wrong with religion, by the way. There's nothing wrong with spirituality. There's nothing wrong with believing in God. But the point here is, especially at this point in time, the masses are starting to look at, what we believed in. Right. And it's not, and people, a lot of people back in the day before COVID, they were looking at shit, that stuff doesn't really work. What we're going to do is go into industry. We're going to make a hell of a lot of money and then I'll be happy. Well, a lot of people did make a hell of a lot of money, right? Through COVID, through, new ideas, the internet, YouTube, a lot of people making money, but everybody's fucked up more than ever. Again. So it's not the concept, it's the consciousness that you are, say, you are operating out of. So your religions, your money, your relationships, any of those things, it won't work for you. It's because of the consciousness. So 1111 activations are actually about you understanding one, the bullshit behind all those concepts, right? And then also allows you to understand the truth behind those concepts. It allows you to understand what Jesus really meant, what Buddha really meant, what Muhammad or Abraham or some of the spiritual movements that you have, or the spiritual practices, the mysticisms, right, from shamans and whatever Eastern philosophies that are out there. It allows you to go, oh, okay, I understand where, and I'll tell you how we do that. It's like you see, you become an observer of the modality or whatever that you believe in. Now, I don't care what you believe in. You can. The only thing that you shouldn't believe in is satanic worship. Right? If you practice like satanic worship, it's a cycle downwards. That's the only thing that's very, very distorting. And by the way, I don't know why I'm talking about this, but I think maybe it's Halloween. But I think in this day and time, we'll start to pull away from like Satanism. By the way, one of the biggest keys in religion and spirituality is understanding or knowing or thinking that there's always a dark force that's almost equal to God that you always have to fight with, right? Think of that, even that concept. And people go, well, I'm a religious person. And it's like, well, then you shouldn't believe in Satan the way that you do. Right? So again, those truths, and I'm not here to tell you truths. I'm here to say become. I'm here. I'm not here to tell you what to think. I'm here how to think, so you can understand this on your own. Because these journeys are again on your own. It's only between you, your higher self, and say an intelligence that allows you to to experience this reality the way the way it's been created, basically the physics of the universe. That's the intelligence that I would call God, right? So again, 1111 activations, portals, new moons, those are all concepts of nature. Those are all concepts of nature that people have attached meanings to, just like they have attached meanings to a god, to an identity that they had no clue over. By the way, becoming scientist. Well, I'm a scientist. Well, if your science, is fucked up, right? And if your science is wrong, and then 10 years later, it's like, gosh, our science dictates that what we believed in, what was fact back then, what was science back then, is totally wrong. I mean, then it's not real science. They should call it something else, but or at least be open to concepts and ideas that could help scientists like open up, just like you, right? I believe in this, and this is what I believe in, and it hasn't worked out for, my family and my friends and society over the ages, but I'm still gonna fucking believe in it because, they believed in it back in the day. How the hell does that work? How the hell does that work? And I'm reading, a lot of the audience. I think there's a lot. We always get more and more new people here, which is fantastic. So thank you for that. But those are the belief systems. Those belief systems should have an infrastructure that never changes. Okay, just like just like gravity, just like electromagnetism, just like the way this planet has evolved into what it is today. It's always evolved, but there's always an infrastructure of finding the truth. That infrastructure of finding the truth is what needs to be put in place for you all. And the 1111 activations that we do, and this is how we understand or harness the true science of what's going on, right? Harnessing the truth, the real truth, the one truth, the singular truth. And that's what Jesus was talking about. There's only one way to say come into God's realm. It's not all that stuff that you do. It's about finding or accessing the truth and being okay with going shit. Uh, a life of life. Your ideas and your concepts of aging, your ideas of improving yourself, your ideas of wealth, your ideas of love, all those definitions have to be redefined back to the original source, back to, say, the original, say, concepts of those definitions that were created for you. So, what that means, by the way, is that for you to experience love, Okay, the way you do. Okay? For you to experience love or anything else that you do, you have been programmed to experience love. Okay, think of it. There's a program within you. There's a consciousness that you connect to through that program in your brain that goes, oh, love, hate. All those definitions are there for a purpose, but we've redefined through human say, intervention, through human experiences, we've redefined everything in this reality. That's why nothing makes sense. That's why you go, oh, do you believe in love? It's like, and people ask me that. I was like, do you believe in love? Do you believe in God? And I'm going, well, what's your definition of love? What's your definition of God? What's your definition of honor? So can you do me a favor? Take a break. I'll work on you. Just take a deep breath in, write down or comment in what your definition of love is. I know many of you are exponentially intelligent, so you'll get it right. But what's your definition of honor? What's your definition of, say, joy? What's your definition of peace? You'll see there's so many different variations in nature. Every living being, other than humans, exists from the same definition. A lion, a gazelle, right, or a deer, a lion, a gazelle, they understand the same concept of love, of understanding, and that's how everything is harmonized and balanced. So you have the same playing field. If you've the Fantastic Fungi, what a beautiful movie, right? Everything is so integrated. Everything understands each other. Everything is so very different. The trees, different vegetation, different animals, but they all communicate at the same language. But in humans, the base language that everybody communicates outside of, like Chinese, Arabic, and Farsi. I speak Farsi, or English. Okay, that's totally fine. But even those definitions, the underlying definitions of those are the problem. I'm not talking about language. It's like everybody's speaking a whole it's a very, very different language that everybody speaks about. And then people go, oh, wow, I don't know why my spouse doesn't understand me. I don't know why this money definition is not working for me. It's like, well, fuck. Look at the definitions of who you are. Later on, I'll be coming out with a book on redefining reality. Okay, actually, I've got a couple books coming out, which is kind of interesting because it's taken me, I don't know how many years, like what, 13 years, and everybody's going, Moss, you should write a book. You should write a book. You should write a book. And finally, now it's coming. I think I've got 2 or 3 books that's coming into play, which is really exciting. Um, so watch out for that. All right. So harnessing science beyond mysticism. So in this case, again, rather than understanding the concepts or what you've learned from your parents and grandparents and religious books and all that, we're gonna go and you go into activation. Take a breath in today. At Monday at 11, we're going to go into that. We're going to go into those states and open you up, so you go, oh, that's what, say, 11/11 activation is. This is what a full moon is about, right? You're using the powers of nature to help you reset yourself to the purest version of what humans should be, what humans have that potential to be. Okay? Because right now, if we created our own definition, it doesn't really work for us. I mean, it hasn't really worked for us. We've created great technology, but that technology has destroyed us, right? We've created great opportunities for us again, but most of those opportunities, I would say almost all, have become devastating. Take a breath in, just notice your chest space. Notice your ribs all the way around, from the front all the way around into the back. All right. The next aspect is activating higher self connection through XI science and frequencies. So, how do you reset yourself? All right. So, imagine this: you're on a vehicle, it's going a certain direction. Okay. It's going a certain direction, and then you're on this vehicle or a bus or a train, I don't care, or a car. You're going a certain direction. Everybody's going that same direction. Again, the wrong direction, right? And then what you try to do is like, you know what? I think it feels like I'm going the wrong direction. But you don't have the vehicle or you don't have the access to change direction. You're not the bus driver. You're not the pilot. You've allowed someone else to drive you. So that pilot is again your genetics, human history, social norms, social standards, your experiences that again are dictated by what I just said. So that vehicle is what's driving you. And you're going, gosh, you know what? I need to make more money. Oh, I need to be more spiritual. Oh, I need to do this. And it's like, it doesn't matter because your end goal is the direction that everybody else is going for. And that's where it doesn't feel right. A lot of people are awakening and they're going, gosh, you know what? I think we're going the wrong direction. The tools that I've used, like psychology and everything else that I talked about earlier, it's like, fuck, it might help me. It might ease the pain as I go the wrong direction. It might make it more fun for me. You know what it is? It really is like, your kids, they're antsy, they're on the long, road trip. So what you do is like you put an iPad nowadays in front of them. It's like amusement. And it's like they just don't want to go to say grandma's house, for example. Right? How many of you were like that? It's like fuck. Going to grandma's house, right? So what do your parents do? What did your parents do to analyze you? Well, if you go to grandma's house, I'll give you X. You get a better Christmas present. You're not going to get cold. Um, and nowadays, it's like, here, have an iPad, you know, distract your mind, play on your phone, listen to music. Look, there's a lot of young people that do that, right? Well, fuck, I hate this reality. I don't know like where we're going on it. What are we going to do? Well, I'll just distract myself. That's where a lot of young people do, by the way, right? How many of you have teenagers? Right? They're closed in. They're of themselves. Even when they're together with other kids, they've got their iPad. They text each other, although they're sitting right next to each other. They're texting. That's where it comes from. That's what adults have created the next generation. And then the next generation, gets more and more distorted, more and more isolated. And then we blame, technology. We blame the government. We blame whoever got elected, because of them. No, it's because of you. It's because you didn't take control. You didn't allow yourself to become fully autonomous. So, in activating your higher consciousness, the XI approach is not just about, again, feeling spiritual or going, gosh, I'm successful, therefore I should be happy. Look at me. I've got a huge house. I've got my Lamborghini. I've got this and that. And therefore, you should look at me as like a person that has value. And, that person deep inside goes, fuck, man, I've got all that stuff. I'm not happy. I'm really not happy. I meet a lot of those individuals. I also meet a lot of those individuals again. It's like, God, you know what? I did a jungle trip. I did, I don't know, 10 ayahuasca trips. I've done all this. I wear the robes out there. I talk like a spiritual, person and so on. Therefore, I should be happy. And then, they take all that shit off and it's like, fuck, I'm not happy. You know? Again, look at what's happening out in the world. Don't believe me. Just take a look at a hard look. So as you activate your higher consciousness, this is what you'll start to see. You'll start to see the incongruencies of what's out there, what you have applied yourself to, or what you've believed in. That's what these XI activations are about. And like I said in the beginning, it doesn't fucking matter if it's true or not. Most people go, well, I don't believe it because I need the science behind it. You know, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Right? You can use anything. Again, you can use anything to activate who you are. That's the beauty of XI, or that's the beauty of physics of this universe. It literally is. You can use any moment to render the next moment of yourself in a better version, no matter where you are, no matter what situation you're in. Right? If you don't believe me, nature does it all the time. Nature is automatic. By the way, it was the coolest thing. I had some great downloads. You know, if you look at a tree or a rock, I was just like, God, it's got a consciousness. And again, we'll talk about that some other time, not here, because it goes pretty deep, right? It goes into deep level philosophies, way beyond, Aristotle and those individuals or, some quantum sciences. But yes, yes. I'll tell you. Okay, sounds good. I'll be answering some of your comments. Take a breath in. All right. So it goes much deeper, but I'm thinking it's like, gosh, this tree, how can it just stand there and not get bored, right? It'll stand there for hundreds of years, or a rock. It's like, damn, because it has to have a consciousness to allow it to. It has to have enough consciousness to allow it to say be a rock or crystal or a tree or something like that, right? And it's like it moves through time. If it didn't have that consciousness, it's not just something that is. If it didn't have that consciousness, it couldn't render, say, the frequency to morph it into a tree or a rock or all that. So that's the basis of this theory that I put through ChatGPT, by the way, an XI version of ChatGPT. Um, Amazing, amazing intelligence, by the way, once you train technology properly, right? Um, and that's another thing we could talk about. But and I'm going, gosh, how can it do that? Well, here in the XI 1111 activations and anything else that we do, but especially 1111 activation because it's a great moment in history. Um, you know, you start to understand that it's not the same. It's not the same rock that I'm seeing every moment. It renders itself into a new sense of self. It goes into, say, time dilation and creation of time frames, right? Or yeah, creation of time frames. Every moment you re-render yourself as new. But most people, what do they do? They carry their past, they carry their history behind into the next moment. Think of it as a cartoon. Back in the day, they would draw, they would render the scene, and then they would just change it a little bit, and then it creates motion, right? The flip books that you get, right? It creates motion. Basically, that's how time works. So what nature does is like, gosh, you know what? The last picture or the last rendition, this is what we needed, right? There was a virus out there. This next rendition is like, let's get rid of that virus. Let's not create that anymore. And boom, nature just cures itself of the craziest things that humans need help with. It's like, what the fuck, right? We've got immense possibilities, but we don't use it. So these types of activations, no matter what it is, it doesn't matter. The belief system, the motivation of going into the next moment is the key, right? So in this case, many people wait. Many people, again, stop time. It's like, I'm not going to go forward because I need to know this and I need to know that. I need to have a guarantee. I need to have proof. Doesn't matter. Just believe in anything. It gives you movement, and as you believe, you start to become aware, or you start to observe. It's like, oh, this isn't working for me. Oh, that's not working for them. That's not working for them. And then you start to deviate your path, but you've got the momentum now, right? All right. So using energetic portals. Are there energetic portals? Absolutely. There's always energetic portals. There's always like planetary systems that align, that always like starts to create, say, momentum for you. It like changes the frequency. For example, a full moon. A full moon, I used to live by the ocean. Whenever we had a full moon, the docks would rise like maybe 6 to 8 feet, right? They have moving docks. It's amazing. It's like the water level. It's like 6 to 8 feet, maybe more sometimes, with the full moon. So obviously, the energies or the frequencies underlying the energy, the physical energies, have to change as well. In order for that to happen. So you can take advantage of that. You can take advantage of the synchronicity of the planetary system when people come, when systems come into alignment. Solar flares, solar events, eclipses, amazing, amazing possibilities for the alignment of the planet. Because when things become into alignment, especially as nature, and nature comes into fantastic alignment, and you can see that when nature starts to, well, when nature comes into like purity and alignment, there is so much power and strength behind it. This is what we do in the human upgrade, the 18 days where we transform you in the 18 days. This is where, we take the power of nature and then we put you in front of that alignment. And this is where you can use and harness the portals, full moons. There's also portals, vortexes, just like your body of in Earth, right? Texas. Well, I know God, there's portals all over the world, right? I was in Ibiza, right? There's a great portal there, the huge rock that comes, and I forgot the rock, sorry. Esfedra, amazing portal there. There's tons of portals all over the world. Obviously, there's some are more powerful than others. There's portals in your neighborhood as well, certain portals, right? But again, much, much smaller. There's portals in time and space, no matter where you are, by the way. Right. And some of you might actually feel that or sense that, especially if you're going through healing mastery. You'll start to feel portals. You'll start to also feel vortexes around individuals. Okay, vortexes around individuals, because if you think of it, we're all planetary systems, right? All planetary systems, right? We have mass, right? We also have a spin. By the way, that's how we render ourselves here in physical form. We have gravity. We always have, say, black holes. That's because again, planetary system or a planet is rendered that way. Anything that is an object is rendered in the same way. It's a fractal universe, right? It doesn't matter. The science that creates planets are the science that renders you, right? It's just an extension of it. So once we start to understand that, we can use, again, portals, we can use anything to access our higher self, our higher understanding of who we are. The biggest key as we end, by the way, is that most people want to say believe before they act. Okay? Nature doesn't work that way. Nature works in movement. Time is always moving forward. As you stay present in time, that's the only thing you need to do, guys. That's the only thing you need to do. Just stay present in the time, right? And become an observer, right? Non-judgmental. As you become an observer, non-judgmental, you naturally gravitate, just like water does. You pour water anywhere on a hill, and where does it gravitate to? Back to its like perfect state, right? Back into harmony. Anything in nature, if you realize that, it always comes into harmony. It's always balancing itself, right? That principle is basically you, but most people, they try to balance or harmonize themselves, going, oh, if I do this, then I'll be harmonized. No, because that's not your natural state. You've redefined what balance and harmony means for you. Right? It doesn't mean that that's not part of it, being wealthy, being happy, and all that stuff. It means that you need to balance who you are at a very deep frequency level, your core level or your essence. And then, you can use money or spirituality or anything like that to again enhance your balance. But most people use those objects, those ideas, those concepts to balance who they are, and it always falters. It always, it's like building a house of cards. So what I'm saying through this is literally about learn how to balance the way you've been intended, the way billions of, say, years of knowledge and technology and science have created you. Okay, go back to that knowledge because it's worked for, again, billions, maybe trillions of years. Understand that knowledge, harmonize yourself, and then put on the robe of wealth. You can put on the robe of wealth and spirituality together. These are separate concepts and ideas of this reality. They're not. We're actually going to do an Africa trip. Worldly wealth, universal wisdom. It's all about. It's merging those two concepts that are very, say, disparate in this reality. Right? If I'm religious, I can't be wealthy. But in reality, if you are perfectly religious or spiritual, you should be wealthy because you'd be awakened, you'd be closer to your spirit, because that's what religion and spirituality is about, right? Like putting you as close to religion, spirituality is supposed to be a path for enlightenment, right? To be awakened. So again, if it's destructive for you, any of those things, you're doing it wrong. It's just straight out. Don't believe me. Look at the effects that you've got. Right? You should become spiritually abundant. So that's what XI Science is about. Let's answer some of the questions. Just give me a second, guys. All right, this is from Julie Hawks. Love unconditional, unconditioned, one of the highest frequencies, powerful on both ends of the spectrum. Well, true, but then again, unconditional love. There's only one form of love, by the way. You know, we've got how many different definitions of love do we have? And even Julie, you're getting into it, but just to read you, Julie, think of it this way: you're always seeking love outside of yourself. It's like, well, gosh, you know what? God is like unconditional love. I want to reach that. I want to reach that space. So love is outside of you, right? And that's the problem. Most people go like, gosh, you know what? I need to understand God more. So I need to go seek God out. That's what unconditional love is in this definition. And it's true. But again, how are you accessing that? What's your journey on that? Most people go, gosh, you know what? I need to seek some higher source. I need to go to, I don't know, an event. I need to go do whatever. I need to go out there and seek it, and then I'll find. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. You go inward. You understand yourself. You elevate your frequency. You go to a higher level of understanding of who you are. As you become more and more intelligent of who you are, you become wiser. Okay, then knowledge becomes you, and then you go, gosh, you know what? I'm starting to understand God even more. Right? Most people think of it this way. Um, you're at kindergarten level. You're trying to understand, college level calculus, right? Calculus 4. It's like it just doesn't work. Everything gets simplified, everything gets dumbed down. So what I'm saying is like, shit, increase your knowledge of who you are, not who God is. Don't worry about God or anything like that. Don't even worry about love. Understand the connection between you and your higher self. As you understand the connection, it's all literally love is literally efficiencies. I told Faye is like, we had a deep conversation of love, and she's telling me all these beautiful things, and I'm going, well, love, it's an efficiency, right? By the way, we did this retreat, and everybody was going around, it's a spiritual retreat, part of the Burning Man group. And people are going, oh, love, it's love, joy, peace, and this. And, you're supposed to say one word, it comes up to me, it's like efficiency, right? It's like, and everybody's laughing. It's like efficiency. Well, of course. It's like you do want the fastest way to love. You do want the fastest way to spiritual enlightenment. You do want the most efficient way to say, unconditional love or wealth, spiritual wealth, and all that, right? So you'd want efficiency because that's what most people want, efficiency. So, well, so that's again. So that's really the key. Is like how, and that's what love is literally about. How efficient are you, or how close are you to your highest version of who you can be at this moment? Your current version and then your highest version. How close are you without all those filters, without all those distortions, without all those definitions that you created for yourself, and reconnect to the purest definition? And then that's where you start to realize that you are love. You just emanate love. Your purity, or people searching for the light. When people go, oh, that person has enlightened, that's what it's about, right? Efficiency, that connection, hence enlightenment. So really great. This is from Mirta Olart. All of them come from the same source inside of us. It's a peace that manifests in love, in love, care about ourselves and others. Right. Yes. So in this case, one thing that we need to understand, Mirta, is it's inside of us. Absolutely. But when we go inwards, we think of ourselves. Take a minute to close your eyes, take a deep breath in. When you go deep inside, and this is the beauty, right? What do? We start to see the hurts, the pains, the experiences that we've gone through, that inner child, the deeper child. Okay. That's a problem with going inside. Okay? We start to become observers of how we've rendered ourselves back in the day. That's not really going inside. Right? That's the problem with going inside. Right? True definition, again, the science behind it. We need to go inside as an amazing being, right? A spiritual identity of who we are. We need to go inside our physical form, right? Understanding that our physical form or our spirit is not within us. Our spirit is rendering this physical form. By the way, start to be an observer. We start to stand outside, look within. That's the key. Most people look inside here, and then and all the filters of who we are, what we've gone through, all those experiences start to show up, and then that's not a pure version of what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is when you go inside. In this case, is that you become like again an observer of your physical identity of who you are. You have created a higher version of who you are. Your consciousness or your presence is not at the same level of your physical identity created here. Right? You want to go higher to a higher level of consciousness through frequencies, and then look inside, peer inside your soul. Okay. So, and that's where you go, oh, right? I am pure love, creating myself in this reality the way this is, the way I am. And then you have deep, immense love for yourself. And as you have deep, immense love for yourself, what happens? That love cures. In that sense, love cures for you. Love heals. And that's where true love begins. This one, NKNH, Moss are messages and tarot cards from demons. No, not necessarily, but could it be? Yes. So again, watch the source that people channel, or watch the source that tarot cards or that specific deck is, say, created or connected to. Right? Especially if you've got a tarot card that was handed down to you, or even if you buy something from, say, buy a brand new set of tarot cards, what did the store owner believe in? Who's the manufacturer of that tarot card? Because all those frequencies are within the tarot cards. The same way as if you buy a couch, a car, whatever, all the frequencies that handled the thing that you bought are in the object that you bought. Right? Same way with foods. All the processes that handled it. So again, that's the efficiency. The closest you can get to the source in this framework, what you want to do is, if you want to just clean that purest version out, is basically you can cleanse that frequency, not through incense and all that stuff again, because that has information, or say sacrificial or spiritual content behind, like saging and things of that nature. So you start to define what tarot cards are for you. You start to define what saging means for you, right? So, and then in this case, tarot cards. So in this case, it's like, where did you learn your abilities through tarot cards? Who did you learn that from? Because not only did you learn, say, the physics of, well, not the physics, but the techniques of tarot cards and what they mean, but then also you pulled in the frequencies of the person that taught you, and then that person that taught them, and then the person that taught them, and so on and so on, right? Um, on the flip side, right, the success side, people have a mentor. Well, you're learning success mechanisms of this mentor. Well, you're also pulling their frequencies of the addictions and all the other bullshit that mentor has. So you want to always filter out the knowledge and just access the pure knowledge. As you access the pure knowledge, right, there's a void. Okay. Let me just explain really quick what happens. So, say for example, again, whether it's tarot cards, understanding tarot cards, the knowledge behind tarot cards, the knowledge behind your science, the knowledge behind your success, the knowledge behind your relationships, right? So there's a block, like block A. Okay, that's your knowledge that you're seeking. Okay, there's a wrapper around it, person's identity, the person's background, and so on like that. Okay, so like if I pick up somebody's book, I don't need to know the author. I basically can see how and what and how they formed their concepts, even if the concepts are true. Right? Doesn't really matter. It's scientifically validated. Okay, the background of that concept or that identity of that person is ingrained within the frequencies of what you're learning. So what we do in XI is like, okay, let's take the pure concepts. Let's just take package A. I don't want the wrapper. We get rid of the wrapper and just take, say, what's there for us. And then if there's no wrapper, the coolest thing happens, guys. If there's no wrapper, there can't be a void in time and space. There's no wrapper. What happens is the original wrapper of the intent of that knowledge comes in and wraps around it. And this is where, like, knowledge, whether it's, techniques in surgery, whether it's tarot card reading, whether it's techniques in success, the original form, the purest form has wrapped around that, say, knowledge. It is the coolest thing. That's part of the healing mastery, but it goes way beyond, say, the limitations of human mastery. It goes way beyond into like Buddhist states and so on like that. So that's what you want, and that's how just hold on to that purity of the knowledge. Okay, again, and the way you do that is you filter everything out of the tarot card. The way you can start out by going, okay, I just want the purest version of what tarot cards were meant to be. Okay. And as you ask that, you start to filter out the channels and everything like that are attached to that. Okay. So, um, great question. Uh, this one, Lauren, Renee, how do you open or close a portal? One, you have to understand, where a portal is, how a portal is. And by the way, you don't have to be experience that portal, although initially it might be beneficial for you. I can, for me, it's like there's a great portal in like Israel, hence that's where all that chaos comes from, the original form, the source of it. Right, you can open and close those portals, but you really don't. By opening and closing portals, you're not really opening and closing portals, by the way. Right, people go, I opened up a portal. No, you stepped into a portal. Right, so what and how you do it. Right, obviously it's easier to be physically experiencing a portal. Portals are literally, say, breathing holes or expansions of Earth, right? There's energetic fields, for example, magnetism, so on. A lot of those things are like portals or create portals for it. So, Earth has an energetic field, right? We've got magnetism fields, but then there are other, say, frequency fields that Earth has. And so those are where the portals are, and they're all over the place, by the way. Okay. Obviously, some of them are bigger than the other. So what you're doing is like, well, one, you can stand in a portal, or you can stand in a portal of time and space. That's the most powerful portal, although it's very, very subtle. Okay. I don't want to get too much into detail. So you're not opening and closing a portal. You're literally like stepping into the same frequency. So if in your definition, opening a portal is you resonate at the same frequency as a portal. So once you understand like frequencies or resonance, you can render that frequency, and then you're warped into that portal no matter where you are. But to start out with, physically, you just want to say feel a portal. There's a lot of portals in like Arizona, right? You go there and you can start to move around and you go, oh, I feel something different. Oh, and you can actually feel, the portals that are there, by the way. Right? It's really, really different. A lot of the pyramids are built on, say, portals or time functions, by the way. Um, uh, I might have told you the story that there's um, a pyramid in Chichen Itza that we went to, and the corners are based. The corners are right um, on these time, say, frames, and you walk right through the portal, and it's like, whoa, it's like you went into another dimension, and then you step across. Okay. Let's see. What does it feel like to feel vortexes and portals? What if we are feeling something and don't know how to understand what we are feeling? Okay. So be the observer. Right? You're trying to process for you specifically. This is a Thea. What you're trying to process things through here. Okay. So you have to let go of processing information through here. You have to allow, say, the senses, the deeper senses for you to come in. If you're, for example, if your eyes, your visual acuity, your visual field, a spectrum of what you can see is very, very narrow. Out of the spectrum of light that's there, it's like huge. It's like way beyond like, you know, you're just seeing a sliver of what we can see. Okay. So once you start to stop processing here, right, through your mind, through your brain, that same, say, visual field can expand. So and then this is where the consciousness that can see all things, this is where you start to again increase your visual field in this case. How many of you smell like death? Right? I've worked with you guys, your abilities have come through, right? So, and most people, you sense, you smell things that physically aren't present. That's what you've done. You've expanded the limitations of the brain and expanded in your consciousness. Your consciousness or your presence actually has access to the full spectrum of sound, the full spectrum of light, the full spectrum of feeling. Right. That's where some people feel ghosts, feel presences, and so on like that, or feel, say, vortexes. Okay, it's the same thing. You learn how to expand the limitations that have been put upon your five senses through here. And it's not just five senses, by the way. There are many other senses that keep you, say, stabilized here. Again, it's about spatial referencing, which we teach in in many of the classes. As a note, frequency spa coming up to help you look, more younger, reverse age, come into your space. We leave frequency spas open; they're just blank because as the group forms. Right, I create from the group. It's like, what does the group need? So as we come in, it's like, oh, the group needs this. It's like fantastic, and this is what will generate. All right, so that's coming up Wednesday, November 20th. Timeline mastery. This is really cool, guys. Breaking free from the true money trap. That's coming up Wednesday, November 27th. So for those individuals who literally are imprisoned or the golden handcuffs, as you say, right? You can't break through the ceiling. You make a lot of money and then you lose it, or you have a lot of money or you make a lot of money and it's just not complete. It's just not like solving the problems that you thought money would solve. So that's the time money trap, and also people thinking that time equals money, or money equals time. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. If you get into that state, it's horrendous for those types of individuals because you because you won't enjoy the money that you make, by the way, because you're always afraid of losing money, because you're always afraid of losing time, because most people waste their time in life. Right? So if time equals money, think of it, and you're wasting a lot of your time not finding who you are, you're running all over the place. It's like you're on fire and you're trying to put yourself out. That's what a lot of those individuals, when they start to equalize or equate, have that equation, time equals money. It's very, very destructive, right? There's tons of success books built on that. Oh, you just make time equal money. This also destroys societies because then everybody is a cog in the wheel, and their value is based on how much money they can make, generate their income. Their value isn't based on the intrinsic value of who they are. Hence, society's values go down. If you ever wondered why there are trillion-dollar companies, it's not because their value fucking went up. It's because the value of money is decreased so bad that $1 million company is not worth 10 billion in like in real dollars, for example, right? Again, the valuation of companies, that's a sign of time equals money. $1 trillion companies, they're fucking not worth trillions of dollars. How did Apple or whoever, go from a couple hundred million to some $1 trillion? Because they printed so much money, there's no value in money. So think of it, time equals money, you become valueless because that's what you attracted. So this is not just for highly successful individuals, although it's geared for that. This is for, those individuals who want to have that aspire to be successful. Right? You want to do it the proper way, not the way most people have done well. So, um, yep. Last one. This one, Allison, I think we're all born with love, but at what age do we lose the abilities to access it? You're born with everything. You're born with a complete handbook of how you should operate this reality. But as you grow, your kids, by the time they age around age 6 to 7, to be say specific, this is where kids go, Mom, the handbook says that love and this and that and whatever should be like this, but why are you telling me and why are you living like this? And then by 6 or 7, it's like, because parents go, well, because I told you so. This is the way you should do it. Do what I say and not what I do, and all this bullshit, right? And then it's like, well, fuck, this handbook is of no use in this realm. I don't know why I have this handbook. And then we start to run, the handbook of society, and then we turn into our parents and society. So you don't want to do that. You want to become exponentially intelligent, right? You want to become exponentially intelligent and reclaim the handbook that has taken billions, if not trillions of years to refine for you as a gift so you can be your best possible self. Think of it that way. Right? The true God gave you a gift. It's created again. It took billions, if not more, to create this beautiful present for you called your human form. So go back to its original maker and go back to its original intent, and you'd be surprised on how beautiful this reality can be. All right, guys. As we end, notice what you notice. Notice those details. All right. Peace.